Hello everybody, welcome to 2C TV, your global news channel. I'm Maya 2C and we come to you guys with some breaking news coming from Brazil. The governor of Rio has now declared that war has erupted following the initial police operation against the cartels, which now absolutely escalated, going from a normal anti-gang operation into an all-out street conflict. There is a bit of a problem with Lulu's government as well. We're going to give you guys the latest coverage on this. A number of casualties still increasing. This is still an ongoing development, but we do have to obviously cover the things that are not being absolutely reported, obviously, by the mainstream side. So 2,500 police officers initially, with the help of special forces, stormed the areas around the international airport in the city. Things went wrong from there. There was an initial raid, which kind of was actually successful in terms of the number of arrests and also the weapons and drugs being seized. But since then, we had the hit back by the narco-terrorists, which has now resulted in an internal conflict. As we said, the governor, Claudio Castro, has now said that the city is now at war. This is the wording coming directly from the governor, not me. So yes, still a lot going on. Gonna go through the details of the operation and how the reaction is ongoing. Now, there's also some videos coming in regard to the situation on the streets themselves. But as you can see, the essentially internal conflict has now reached major cities and major streets and side roads in the capital. Now, going through the details there, as I said, it started with a major operation against the Red Command, or the Commando Vermelho, or the CV. The drug traffickers defended themselves by bombing the police with drones. Yes, they have actually increased the technology. They are using drones against the authorities. According to the press on the ground, 200 bullets are being fired every minute. And again, obviously, the narco-terrorists have been dominating the control. We are going to talk about the role of the government here, because this is primarily between Rio and the narco-terrorists. But where is the national government?
Chuva de tiro, hein?
Now, of course, the governor of Rio saying that this is war is putting pressure, is supposed to be putting pressure on the national government to send out more military support, which is not happening right now. But the operation began at dawn. In response, as we said, the gang members opened fire, set cars on fire, which is normal usually in Brazil, built barricades. But for the first time in history of Brazil, drug traffickers started using FPV drones to drop explosives on the authorities. And since then, things got out of control. Now, obviously, the war on drugs in South America overall has been escalating over the last few weeks and a few months. A lot of these governments are under more pressure because they know that the US government is keeping an eye on every single region, because the Americans don't want anything that affects their own interest and the safety of the American people. This is one of the reasons that these governments, or at least on a local level, the authorities are trying to step up their game when it comes to the war on drugs. Now, Lula continues to refuse to confront these guys with military support, which is a little bit embarrassing. But of course, Lula has other priorities, which is to basically do a crackdown on innocent citizens of Brazil. Right, but let's not forget that most of the connections when it comes to the Red Command goes back to Venezuela. The bigger cartels and the network of cartels always links back to those around Maduro. Even though Maduro obviously claims to be the enemy of those cartels, it's a lie, because they're all using the same financial networks to benefit from each other. The left-wing government in Brazil and Lula themselves are extremely corrupt. We know that Lula, with the help of the IRGC in Iran, they have connections to money laundering. They have connections to the financial networks of the same drug traffickers and same cartels, same organized criminals that they claim to be against. This is a norm when it comes to certain left-wing countries in South America. It's nothing surprising. The latest numbers that we have now received from Rio, over 80 have now been killed, over 100 arrest warrants. Officials say that the operation has now affected 280,000 civilians, local residents in the city, but casualties will be expected to continue to rise, unfortunately, despite all this. Let's go to the video from on the ground.
Tranquilidade, mano, ó. A tia tá filmando aí, nós vai descer. Qual é, rapaziada? Ó, um atrás do outro. Ninguém com nada. Ninguém com nada. Aí, tá geral sem camisa, pegou a visão? Tá geral sem camisa, nós vai descer aqui devagar, hein? Filma, tia.
Eu não tô conseguindo.
Filma, tia. Tenta pra filmar, já tá filmando. Já tá filmando. Então, filma, já tá filmando. Calma aí. Calma aí, calma, ó. Ó, nós tá vendo aí com o fuzil pra dentro aí, mano. Nós tá na mão, qual foi? Nós tá na mão, tranquilidade, mano.
Ô, moço, calma aí.
Calma.
Absolute mess.
A arma tá lá em cima, calma. Calma, nós tá na mão, sem esculacho.
Tá filmando.
Sem esculacho, sem esculacho. Sem esculacho, calma. Vai sair geral, o bagulho é tranquilidade. Bagulho é tranquilidade, mano. Sem esculacho. Sem esculacho. Aí, ó, vai. Vai um, vai. Vai outro. Vai outro. Vai. Vai, rapaziada. Vai, sem esculacho. Pode ir, vai. Vai, rapaziada. Vai, rapaziada. Sem esculacho. Então, sem esculacho, o bagulho é papo de homem.
Yeah, they're taking them out.
Vem, rapaziada, pode vir. Ó, tem um amigo morto aqui no chão aqui, entendeu? Bagulho é tranquilidade. Bagulho é tranquilidade. Tem um amigo morto aqui, sem esculacho. Vem,
But there's still a lot more to arrest. A lot more. Again, as a reminder, the authorities on the ground are not getting support from Lula's central government. Nope, nothing from the military. As we said, one of the biggest connections is that the Red Command is directly connected to the Venezuelan cartels and the network in Venezuela, which is, again, the dirty relationship with the Maduro's minions in Venezuela, because they're not directly connected to the government. It's okay, because they go through the Islamic Republic and their drug traffickers, because they have their so-called accountants to do money laundering, which the money goes back to Maduro, the money goes back to Lula's friends in Brazil, both Venezuela and Brazil with corrupt socialist governments. This is also a real threat to the United States. That's why the White House are keeping an eye on the situation right now on the ground in Brazil, because again, the effects of it will be seen in Venezuela. Still, absolute mess. The special forces have done a great job, but I don't think they were expecting the narco-terrorists to actually start using drones to drop explosives on them. That was the biggest shock of the day so far. But they are still fighting back. Now the armed police, because obviously you had the actual authorities, you had their special forces to help them, but the armed police themselves have been trying to now take back control of the streets in Rio. Relatively speaking, it's been done, but in the outskirts, and especially around the international airport, fighting continues. Let's go to the latest report. You have to send them all to El Salvador. That's the only way. It's literally the only way. Look at that mess. That guy is fat. Man. This moved on from being a normal anti-narco-terrorist operation, which is kind of regular in South America, even parts of Brazil, to an all-out civil conflict, which is still causing chaos, unfortunately, for the hundreds of thousands of residents in the city. We just saw someone in the live chat. I'm going to get your reaction in the live chat shortly, but James Smith, and I'm going to guess his real name is not James Smith, has been spamming, copy and pasting, saying Islam will take over, inshallah, which has nothing to do with narco-terrorism right now. But we have retarded people everywhere, which is obviously normal, unfortunately. Now, the things that continue to escalate. Oh yeah, my point is that we blocked him now, because obviously spamming and copy and pasting the same comment in the live chat gets you banned. The rest of it, we have free speech. We don't have moderators in the live chat. You could say whatever you want to say, including if you want to say something about my hair. But it's getting big now. But if you copy and paste and spam, you will be banned and you will be deported to a jail in El Salvador. Let's go to the latest footage. Now, the fact that, again, I'm simply focusing on the rhetoric coming from the governor, because an operation that started with just being about a drug raid, that was the whole point. It was supposed to be a raid, and, you know, of course, the gang members will hit back. Reaching to a point where the governor of Rio says this is no longer a raid, this is war. Literally war on the streets, doesn't seem to be putting pressure enough on Lula and his government. That was literally the whole point of Claudia Castro saying, I declare this is war. I recognize this is war. This is not just a hit back by the gangs. Lula, where are you? We don't know. So anyway, the police in Brazil have also released the footage of weapons being seized during the massive operation against the Red Command. This is before, obviously, the raid reached, escalated to a point of a civil conflict. Let's go. So these are the weapons that they have seized, of course, alongside their drugs and the usual nonsense that they have, and trying to get more update in regards to what's happening with Lula's government. He's been too busy writing love letters to Maduro, by the way. Anyway, while that is going on, I'm just going to get some quick reaction from the live chat. All right, I am Brazilian. The problem in Brazil is the left-wing government and the Supreme Court is deeply involved in drug trafficking. Yet, don't get me started with your stupid Supreme Court. we have big problems with the Supreme Court in the UK, but in Brazil, your Supreme Court and Voldemort in charge doesn't really help. Basic sanity and the rule of law in the country. But yes, absolutely, I agree. But I'm still confident. I am still optimistic. After what happened in El Salvador, in Argentina, I do believe that the lovely Catholic Brazilians will take back control. They will take back control. Lula will go and his gang of minions will be deposed. Aaron says the tactics used by the cartels, IRGC in Ukraine will be sooner or later be used in the UK on patriots by the government. Lack of punctuation makes it difficult to read this. Illegals or the Islamists. We must prepare now. Yeah. Different issues, different problems. People are literally getting killed. Here in the UK we get arrested or stabbed sometimes, but slightly different to getting completely bombed by drones. A weird situation right now in Rio. All right, who's fighting? What's going on? You joined a little bit late. So again, as we said, just a summary. If something that started as a generic police raid, that was supposed to be the point of it, police raid on the narco-terrorists, somehow escalated to an all-out internal conflict on the streets of Rio, according to the governor. Mostly because I think the use of drones, FPV drones on the special forces didn't really help the situation. There's a lot of bombing going on. And considering that Lula has been making excuses for the gang members, which is really embarrassing. You're the leader of the country. Your job is not to make excuses for the criminals, you weirdo. I know you're friends with them secretly, but you shouldn't really say that publicly. I support free speech and I support your beautiful hair. Thank you very much. See, you can stay. All right. You have a nice haircut. It was fine earlier, but the problem is after a few hours, it kind of just comes back. Basically, my hair, the volume is so high, it's so thick. It's basically a straight afro. That's what it is. We have someone who is an idiot in the live chat. Matthew, who only believes things if he hears it from CNN or BBC. Matthew says, this is BS. There's nothing on the news about this. There's nothing, Matthew says. CNN is not reporting this. So that means it's not happening. According to Matthew, because the news, the mainstream legacy media, because they are late, as usual, to reporting the truth, while I am reporting it, and we literally have people from Brazil leaving comments in the live chat, telling us what's going on. But don't worry, guys. Matthew says, because he hasn't heard it in the news, it's not true. Oh my God, I am not your therapist, Matthew. Go pay for an actual therapist and talk about your problems. My job is not that. Anyway, you have a nice haircut. Thank you. Okay, the whole topic is now about my hair for some reason. Another big super chat. Thank you very much. Saying death to Islam. Smell my... What is this? Bad spelling, by the way, but it's okay. Anyway. Another Matthew Crouch said, hey, not all Matthews are dingus. Yes, you're a good Matthew Crouch. Someone said, the news doesn't report the news. Yes, obviously. I mean, that's... Why do people try to go to the mainstream media and check if something has happened? That's literally the worst place to go and check. Because it's going to take them 2 days to find out what's going on in Brazil. To actually report. Although, I'm going to be objectively nice. Because I believe... At least, Sky News, I believe in you. I'm checking. Okay, I have no faith in Sky News. Let's go to BBC News. BBC News, I have faith in you. It's not on the front page, but don't worry. It's coming up. I believe, I have faith. No, absolutely not. BBC News is still behind. I'm not even joking, I'm checking to see. Actually, let me just see what's going on. What's the best way? Oh my God, okay. Let's see which news outlet, mainstream, is quick to this. They're all so late. Rio? No, there we go. So we have some, we have a lot of international ones. Where is this news outlet from? Is that Greek? The Greeks are reporting this. Hang on, let me see. Is that Greek? I can't even tell. Am I being racist? Wait 1 second. Can someone confirm whether this is Greek? I'm going to put it on the screen. So I found the news outlet that's actually reporting this online, mainstream. I need to actually check if it's Greek or not. Is it Russian or Greek? Is it Russian? It could be Russian. Oh my God. Yeah, a war broke out in Brazil between the authorities and drug cartels. Dozens of people died, although that's a little bit behind because the death toll has now reached over 80. Was that Russian? I can't remember. I don't have time to check. Someone else check for me. I'm just going to wait for someone who actually understands if that's... Is that Estonia? Someone said Estonia. See, I had a feeling it could be... It's the Guardian of Estonia. It did look Russian-y. One confirmation. Okay, another one says Russia rather than Estonia. I think it's Estonia. It's blue. It's the blue thing. It's the blue and white thing. Oh my God. Did somebody just said... Hang on. Yeah, someone just randomly said in the live chat, I need to find it because you're going to want to see this. This one. Kristen. This is a proxy war of the US. Well, it's a direct war with the US because you literally have the drug traffickers harming the US citizens. But, you know, someone said 80 civilians. No, not 80 civilians. That would have been absolutely insane if 80 civilians had died. No, they are mostly the drug traffickers, they're narco-terrorists, and 4 of them are the special forces. 4 of them are part of the authorities. Okay, so people are basically fighting now in the live chats, saying it's Ukrainian. Most are saying Russian. Someone said Estonia. My instinct says Russia, not Ukrainian. Yeah. One thing I know, it's not Greek. It looked Greek at first, but it wasn't Greek. All right. Another big super chat from Skyvold. What's happening? Never stop having a goose tome. Goose tome? Brilliant. McFly says, this is New York Times. Is the New York Times mainstream news? Yes. They're reporting on what happened in Rio, but they said only 64 people died. Yes, yeah. Well done, New York Times. But yeah, they're all still delayed. It takes them a while to update it from 64 to 80 plus. I don't blame them for that, but I do blame the others for not actually reporting. The Guardian has, Al Jazeera has reported now. That's good news, right? Al Jazeera. The good news is, obviously Reuters have. The good news is, ladies and gentlemen, the Guardian has actually reported. Nice. Anyway, enough with the stupid mainstream media. Someone said 80 civilians. Oh, that was unnecessary. Apologies for that. Rocky said 80 civilians. That would be Chicago. Too soon. Anyway. Isn't it Formula 1 happening soon? Around there. Isn't F1 happening? Wait. Yeah, next month. Literally in a week. Yeah, obviously it'll be a different place, but that is... You'll be fine by then. Yeah, slightly further out. It's fine. In case you're not familiar, And in case if you're planning to go all the way to Brazil for F1, don't panic yet, because firstly, this thing will calm down in about 2 days. Secondly, obviously Rio is in the southeast and to the west of it slightly. That's where F1 is going to be, which is in about 11 days time, so about less than 2 weeks basically to go. It'll be fine. They'll survive. It's okay. All right. What is happening over here? Michael says, Matthew can rest easy. It's on CNN now. Oh, Matthew, check out. Wait, is it on CNN now? Well done, CNN. Said no one ever. Is it actually now? Yes, it is. Brilliant. CNN has now officially reported on what's happening in Rio. Wow. Yes, but although they're still saying 64. See, and those who are saying, well, the mainstream media says 64. Myotis, it says 80. Myotis is lying, because they always accuse me of lying. But then a day later, when everybody else catch up, then they forget that I didn't lie. I just happened to be early. Because a direct source is from the authorities rather than CNN. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'll keep you guys posted on the situation in Rio and the situation with Lula's stupid government in Brazil. And of course, the US military's operation against the cartels in Venezuela. Subscribe to the channel. I'm Maya Tusi, and we are the media.